What do you get? I have a joke for you. Ready? What do you get
Ready?
when you have a colleague that sends you very precise text messages of their delayed arrival?
What do you get?
Jonas Bull joining us 6
Jonas?
minutes late. I'm
Yeah.
6 minutes behind.
Very, very oddly specific timeline.
Well,
Like, how do you
but
know you're 6 minutes behind? Like, is he running? Is he on a run? And he's like, I've got like 6 minutes from the trail to my computer.
well, that's the whole point. Okay, so if I know if I'm running 6 minutes behind, typically it's because I'm not home or whatever,
No, but how do
and
you know
my
it's 6 minutes?
and then my
Why is it
ETA
not
tells
5
me,
minutes? Like,
right? No,
isn't the increments of time usually like in 5 minutes?
like normal people, unless GPS told you you're 6 minutes away from
Like
your
your ETA
destination.
is 6 minutes away, but then you have to park your car, you have to get inside your house, you have to get behind the computer, turn it on, click the link, suppose that it works, right? So he might have just like
100%.
tacked on an extra.
No, and that's what cracks me up because it's like, um, no one assumes you could turn on your computer. That doesn't take a long time to boot up or whatever, right? I mean, it's just funny. It just cracks me up. So, at any
Yeah.
rate, so there we go. So, oh, shall we just kick off this
Yeah.
video? Like, should we just kick it off?
Yeah. Yeah, I
All
think
right,
so. I
let's
don't
do
think we should
it.
wait 6 minutes.
I know that should probably eat a little bit of it. Yeah. And we're back. Welcome to Chats Among Us, everyone. I'm Syya.
And I am Vicky. And we are missing Jonas because he's like 4 minutes away now.
It's like Jonas. Seriously? Hey, I just want to give a shout out to some friends that I haven't seen in a long, long time, but always love you. Stephen Ang, thanks for the support. Brian Little, oh my God, love you, my friend. Oh, hey, welcome to summer vacation. I hopefully you finished off a year, another year. So congratulations. Wait, I want to give a round of applause to Brian because he's a teacher and come on, they need applause.
Oh my God, they don't need applause. They need better salary.
And Jen, oh my gosh, girl, how are you doing? Oh my gosh, long time no see, beautiful. We have to catch up. Let's do some happy hour sometime. And Steven, I just love you. So I guess we got some folks coming in hot. So anyway, well, welcome to Chats Among Us. This is a show about nothing and everything all at once about Chatgpt, the bots, and the world of AI. Its social implications, its legal implications, it's whatever we damn well please to make us happy. I don't know. What do you think, Vicky?
I think that I'm going to get a branded soapbox for myself so that I can stand on it.
Hey, well, we thought this would be a great stepping stone, right? So, hey, your soapbox has reached Nigeria.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Well, thank you for joining us, Henry. Really appreciate you. And oh my goodness, my friend Brian Denaway out of Arkansas. Miss you, my friend. Next time you're in Texas, let me know. Let me know. All right. So we had this little topic of conversation that just really cracked me up because I was just like, oh, how should I put it? I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny that, sure enough, people who see the world of Chat GPT, hey, look what I can create. If I look at all the other different platforms that are out there, and I'm using Chat GPT kind of synonymously. I really shouldn't, but there are all a bunch of different programs out there that do leverage chat to, you know, uh, create content or automate or inspire you if you're stuck of like for me I'm really bad about writing my own bio, so I can see it where if I want to lean on a bot to write something up for me where I'm like, yeah, this is it for me. Um i i can see that. So what about you? Like, are you surprised that we're in this situation right now?
I am not, because I think there's like three camps of people, right? So there are the camps of people who understand its uses, understand its limitations, and they are using it to make their work more efficient. I like to believe that I fall into that camp because, again, like I did maybe not originally, right? Because like I wanted to push it to its limits to see what it can and cannot do, right? And then you have the group of people who are like, it's just gonna like replace me. So I'm just gonna like use it to do everything. And then
Yeah.
there's the group of people who are just like, no, like this is not, I'm like not going to touch this shit with a 10-foot pole, right? So like I think those are like probably the main three camps of people. And I think people like you and me and I'm assuming Jonas when he's here in the next minute and a half.
We're so gonna make fun of him when he shows up. When he deigns himself to appear on his own live stream.
So when he graces us with his presence,
Yes.
I think, like I said, we truly understand the whole point of AI, why it's here. We understand that it's not here to replace us. Again, you know, I think we touched on it a little bit last week where we're like, there might be a good chunk of people that it will replace. But it's not going to be everyone. And most people just need to, you know, figure out how to use it correctly, right?
Right.
To make their life more easier, more efficient to make. Like I was talking to somebody yesterday. He did like a whole presentation to like an alumni group in like this coaching program I was in, and he about how he uses it, and he's an SEO expert, right? And so like he uses it in the exact way that it was intended to use, right? So he figured out how to appropriately prompt it, and it churns out things for him and for his clients that would normally take him hours to do, but he can now do it in 10 minutes, right? And that's the point, right? Like that's the dream.
Right.
It's like like an assistant on steroids, right? And so if you figure out how to use it in that way, then it's not ever going to replace you,
No.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, see someone's like I use it to write an adult Bible study. Yeah, like it's a tool, right? It's not a replacement. I think that's really all of this just to say that. It's a tool, it's not a replacement.
Wow. Where did you get the comment about Bible study?
It's right there. You don't see it?
No.
Oh, it's from Brian Little and it's on the screen as we speak.
Oh wait, there we go. Oh my god. Hey, I can read, people. Brian, I can read. That just popped up. Holy shit, I kid you not. No, this was what I was trying to highlight. But the other one came up. Oh, my chat must be slightly behind, but that's okay.
That's
what
okay.
else? What else? Hey, should we I'm gonna do a drum roll.
For?
Wait, no, that's not it. No, I think this is it. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Oh yeah, I want to do that one. What's this sound? What's this sound? Wait, hold on.
What are you trying to do?
What's happening? What's happening?
So I just want to say there's a little 9 minutes 16 seconds.
That's 3 minutes and 16 seconds over what I said it would be. Yes.
Correct.
Okay, everyone. This is Jonas Bull. If you don't know him, no, seriously, we were totally making fun of you because Vicky's like, that's oddly specific. was that what your GPS told you that your own me?
I want to know where the 6 minutes came from. I just have to know. It's just personal curiosity.
We just have to know, sir.
I asked Chatgpt.
Okay.
Fucking fudgy.
That's way off.
Right,
Okay. I'm just going to be quiet for Anyway, okay, so here's the deal. I was all excited about today's episode, and I just want to say I apologize because Jonas, I just now noticed that you did a huge write up on a different topic. We'll do that for the next episode, guys. So, but for this one, I just love I just got sensationalistic when ChatGPT backfires. Use cases gone wrong. Okay, look, there are times when people take it to their advantage, take it to the extreme, use it for their own selfish purposes. And there are implications, right? With all good actions, there's always a reaction, right? Sometimes good, sometimes you go to jail for it, or sometimes you flunk out of school. So are you guys cool? Let's bring up a topic that or one of the subjects that was brought up to us. And I'd love your insight if you guys don't mind. So are we cool to kick it off?
Yes.
Let's do it. All right. So for those that have a fondness for China, all right, China made its first public arrest for misusing ChatGPT after a man generated fake news about a train crash that killed 9. And wait, before you comment, I don't know why Temu has targeted me as our target audience, but I just want to go on record. Everything to the right there looks vastly interesting to me. Okay.
What's the second thing?
I don't know. I think it's like a butt cooler or something. Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Okay.
It actually looks like bike shorts. Like they make.
Nope, there's something weird in the middle. I don't know what
Well,
that is.
yeah. They put like a gel pad.
Mm.
For doing like long bike races.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So that's
I've never seen it with pink and butt shape before, but
it kind of looks like was it an orangutan? Baboons? Baboons have that
The
kind of
baboons-
butt? So you want to have like a baboon butt?
Okay.
It's one of those Thursdays, everybody. I'm so sorry, guys. Normally we're wittier than this, but we're just going to be entertained by baboon butts today.
Yes, Raquel, they're giving me a hard time.
I know. See, at least someone here likes you, Jonas. It's all good.
You've got a support group.
Exactly. Okay, guys. Okay, so
right, seriously, though.
We all had a chance to we did have a chance. So, basically, here's the deal. This guy posted fake news, and he's actually does like he's part of a social media company, like that has influence. That
so I mean, this is like a really random headline, I think, because like first of all, couldn't he have just like fake news is everywhere, A. B, what does ChatGPT have to do with it? Like, you could have just like written that story by yourself. So I'm not like entirely seeing the link to ChatGPT here, except that it was just like used to write this article. But like, at the end of the day, he could have just like done it himself, right? And he would have still gotten arrested. So,
well,
I think the theme we're going to start seeing here is that people are using the tool inappropriately. And it may be for something that they could have done just as well badly, or it may be something that they could have done if they had done it themselves, they would have done a better job. But I think either way, I think that's the theme we're going to start seeing here.
I mean, yeah, it's not just going to be ChatGPT, right? Like that's the whole point. Like that's the main one that everybody knows about. But I think we kind of like talked about it in the past where there is going to be, for all the good applications of AI that we're going to see an equal amount of really bad applications, right? Like when I sent you guys last week that TikTok that I was like generally uncomfortable with airing with the Frank Sinatra, you know what I'm talking about? And the deep fake, right? And so it literally takes AI like 5 seconds to recognize somebody's voice, where they can just like, call someone, they can pick up on their voice, and then once they have their voice, the AI recognizes their voice, they can then use that AI to go and do all sorts of like fraudulent things. And obviously like this was just copyright infringement, but like really like horrible things. Like you can mimic somebody's voice and, like, I don't know, blackmail their parents or, like things like that. Like just really terrible applications. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, okay, so here's where the Chinese, okay, first off, China doesn't mess around. First off, like
Yes.
of all the countries, I would not want to screw around in China for a
No.
lot of things. So they do have laws that they put down for deep fake, which I find fascinating that they would have that. Considering I could see them being one of the biggest producers of deep fake, but videos and whatnot content. But
Right.
that's what they pinned this guy under for leveraging Chat GPT for the content. And they used this particular example of 9 people dying as a cause that says, look, you're reporting wrong information, you're reporting bad information, and that can't be acceptable. Because what's going to happen is it got shared like 15,000 times, right? And it only takes one of that 15,000 to believe it's true, and then that's truth, right? So perception's reality. Do you guys think if someone did that here in the United States, someone in AP, right? Or is it AP? What's that? What's
Associated Press?
Associated Press, right? So what if someone did a Associated Press, short thingy and just used Chat GPT where everyone takes AP content and republishes as their, onto their sites? I mean, would the United States lock down the way China has?
No, because we do it anyway. Fake news is rampant here. I don't think that if we're just talking about it in the fake news sense, then I don't think it freaking matters. They publish their own fake news, so like, who cares?
I think at some point there would somebody would probably file a lawsuit or there would be some consequences, but it wouldn't.
But I don't know that ChatGPT or AI would be at the root of that lawsuit, right? Like that's just
it would right now because that's the hot topic, right?
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's my point. Like this article is very clickbaity in that sense because it doesn't really matter that ChatGPT was used for this, because what really matters is that there was this like fake article that was posted and people believed it. And that's a problem, but that's not necessarily an AI problem because we had all this fake news before ChatGPT came along.
True that. Our own brains were good.
Since we brought up deep fakes and we're talking fake news, and that is something that everybody I think is concerned about in one way or another. There is a company called Deep Media, and they are in the process of developing a tool to detect deep fakes, and kind of similar concept as to the plagiarism, the ChatGPT plagiarism detector.
Which can be bypassed.
Sure. And
so it's only a matter of time.
It's a better tool for that than other ways you could do it, as we'll get to. But Deep Media says that there will be as many as 500,000 deep fakes shared around the world in this year, in 2023. I would say, if anything, their number is probably low.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's low. And secondly, I think you're right, Vicky, with the perspective is that this isn't necessarily a ChatGPT issue. This looks like a slander hit, like what do you call those? Like a hit piece against ChatGPT.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, fine, right? Like they're doing that everywhere, right? Like Italy banned ChatGPT. Like it's not allowed there anymore. Why?
So did Apple, by the way.
What do you mean?
They blocked it from their LAN, right? Their network.
What do you mean? In which, you mean like internally?
Apple, yes.
Yes. I mean, I think we shared an article today too. Like Samsung did, all these places did. Obviously, like there's the writers' strike. One of the major like components that they want in their new contract is like they're not allowed to use AI for scripts. And it's like, why are you shooting yourself in the foot? It's only going to make your life easier. Like it's not there. Like we were just talking about this before you got on. Like it's not there to replace you, but it will make your life easier. So what exactly are you guys afraid of? Like I just think it's like a really stupid issue, because I am staunchly of the opinion that like adapt or die. Like this is our new reality. So you can pretend that it's not, or you can adapt and figure out how to make it work for yourself.
Yep. We were talking about this on another show that has a technology component along with a sports component yesterday. That
what show was
that
that, Jonas?
That would be Noonish Sports and Technology Live, which also includes whiskey component, which we should enjoy
At noon?
Yeah, they do. You guys do that sweet whiskey though, like the peanut butter whiskey and honey whiskey.
That has been the favorite so far. Yes.
So sweet.
We should ask ChatGPT what an alternative whiskey would be. But so companies, organizations, states, and people are all going to have to either adapt to this or not. And the ones who figure out how to live with it sooner are going to come out ahead.
Yep.
We saw like just since I've been an adult, we've had pieces. Well, I guess I wasn't really an adult in the 80s, but are arguably into the 2000s. But in the 80s, we had computers, PCs. We're going to change the world. It was the beginning of a new era. It was the end of the world. It was going to change everything. All the business was just going to be completely revolutionized. And first of all, it didn't happen anywhere near as fast as everybody said it was going to. And second of all, it didn't happen in the ways that people thought it was going to. Then we had, in the 90s, we had the internet and the web. And it was going to change the world, and everything was going to be different, and it was going to revolutionize business. It was going to be the end of everything. Civilization was going to be ruined. Didn't happen as fast as anybody thought it was going to. And in almost every way that people thought it was going to change, it didn't, and went in completely different directions. Then we had cell phones. It was going to be the end of the world. It was going to be the end of civilization. People would never talk to each other again. It didn't happen the way that we thought it was going to. Went in completely different directions. And, there's smaller and other cases of that throughout history, really. And this is just another case of we've created a new tool. Things are going to change. We can't really predict at this stage exactly which direction they're going to go, but it's not going to be the end of the world.
It's definitely a change of the world, though, because the internet absolutely did change every aspect of our lives today. The fact that my mom freaking plays bingo all freaking day, not bingo, what's that thing? Slot machine when she can, when we don't pull the tablet away from her. So, I mean, so here's the thing. In this article, the reason why Samsung banned the use of AI wasn't that they didn't want them to become more efficient in their coding and automation of that process. What they were upset about was the fact that like proprietary code was getting loaded up into Chatgpt, that there is a security risk. There is no, what do you call it? Firewall or firewall of data, if you will, to separate proprietary technology. So if I were Chatgpt, I might be creating a business paid for.
Well, supposedly they have.
Well, that sounds like a breach of an employment agreement, or like a confidentiality agreement if those people were stupid enough to do that. So
yeah, but I mean that's the type of things that we're going to have to figure out, right?
Yeah,
because if you're like even it's not to get on this rant yet because it's coming, but even if you're in the legal field and you decide you're going to trust that this thing is competent enough to give you reasonable results back, if you upload confidential client information to any website that you don't control, and even some that you do, you have put yourself in legal jeopardy for violating confidentiality, and in the legal field, you may be putting your client at jeopardy because now you have just released information into something that you don't control. So, I mean, like some of that stuff, again, like you were saying earlier, Vicky, it's just like common sense. Like you could already do these stupid things. ChatGPT just makes you able to do it easier.
You could do stupid thing even more stupider and faster. Okay, I'm just kidding.
Or you can do smart things faster, which is hopefully how you're using it. Right. At least that's how I'm trying to use it. But
Okay,
sometimes
so-
I get it.
There used to be a meme, and this goes back to the 90s, which tells you how long memes have
really
been around.
Throwing it back.
That said that had some guys, and they were dressed in really dumb, like ultra gangster costumes, little skinny white teenagers, and it said, the caption was, "The internet doesn't make you stupid; it just shares your stupidity with the world."
Oh, I like that quote.
I mean, I can't argue with that.
And
Cannot argue with that.
Same kind of concept.
Right? Before then, there was always stupid people. Always. There
Is
will
it
continue to be
stupidity or
stupid
laziness,
people.
you guys?
Both. Mostly stupidity.
Stupidly lazy.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on which context you're looking at it, but I vote stupid.
I love your subtlety. Yeah, they're stupid.
We are. I don't have faith in us as a people, as a country. Let me just, yeah. But yes, the internet has made it very easy for you to just show everyone.
Okay,
Whatever.
so let's like, what's that saying? Like, like, it's better to be thought a fool than to open your mouth and be proven
Right.
right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So okay, clearly,
and that goes back thousands of years. So,
and clearly none of us got the memo, because here we are live streaming, and just working this out. So okay, so here's where I'd like to ask you guys this question, because with Chatgpt and all the other platforms are out there, could you think potentially Samsung specifically, or any others, are poo-pooing the usage of it because they want to create their own version of it, their own proprietary version of it? So is it there was another article that was talking about Bloomberg, or something to that effect, that was creating their own for trading and selling.
JP Morgan, I sent you guys that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that scares me, because now you got the Chat GPT that's supposed to be a tool to enable blah, blah, blah. But now you're talking about companies developing it to mess with money types. I mean, I'm just wondering what's the difference between the two, because isn't it the same principle to automate, to quickly get to the results that we're looking for, that would have taken manual process, but in the context of trading? Like, does anybody do trading? Because I don't know the nuances, but it just sounds sketchy to me if JP Morgan is doing that.
Well, I don't think they're using it for trading. I think they were developing, I mean, they have algorithms that already that predict how stocks, are going to fluctuate, and that's kind of like how they make their decisions on what they're going to invest in and not invest in. And obviously they have, like research analysts that make these predictions. So I think that the AI that they're trying to work out is just to make that easier, and it kind of probably will streamline it in a way, right? Like, you're taking out this like element of human error, and now you have like a machine that's trained to recognize these sort of patterns. But to me, having been in finance and banking, it's like what I said to you guys when I saw this. Like, this is like the SEC's wet dream. This is like, there's like so many just like potential FINRA, SEC, like state blue sky laws that just like affect all these things, right? Like, because all these people who are controlling this money, who are making these decisions, they are heavily licensed, they are heavily scrutinized, and now you have like this robot that's, effectively going to, I don't want to say take the place of their job, but that they're heavily relying on, and they're taking out like their own sort of like piece of the puzzle. And where's the blame going to lie when it gets fucked up?
Yeah.
I kind of look at investment advisor bots, or really even investment advisors, similar to the way that I look at like nutritional supplements. in that if it were actually doing you any good, you'd have to have a prescription at least. if not if it wasn't just outright banned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As and I think I'm justified in saying that because we've seen that happen in the nutritional supplement world where certain things did have an actual effect, a measurable effect, and guess what? Now they're regulated. So it's
Yeah, God,
you know
FDA is not going to let that slide so easily.
right, and neither is the SEC. If there's
No,
something that gives
no.
people an advantage, it's going to get regulated.
It's, to be fair, I have more faith in SEC regulation over AI that's going to come before any sort of overall AI regulation over anything, right?
It's more likely to make
Yeah,
a sort of sense. Also,
yeah,
may not
yeah.
be beneficial to everybody, but
And
it's
I
going to
don't
make
know
it.
in what sense. I don't know what that even can look like. Obviously, AI is not getting licensed. Um, I don't know if it's just like an outright ban. I don't think it would be, again, because they have these very sophisticated algorithms that they already rely on,
Mhm.
that they use to sort of make financial, and investment decisions.
Yep.
So I'm not sure that there's like this like huge difference between it, but I guess it depends on what this AI is supposed to do. So I mean, I
Right.
don't know.
That I do agree with you there for sure. That what it is doing is going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
The other thing that I got to thinking about as
So
we're talking about this is that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, which the whole point of that early on was that it was going to not be regulated and it couldn't be regulated. And needless to say, as of today, it is regulated. And it's not,
Eh,
it's a lot more regulated than
I mean,
anybody
it's,
ever
yeah,
foresaw
it's
that it
not
would
it's
be.
not nothing, but it's also not really something. But yeah, okay.
Well,
That's
and so, and I'm not thinking necessarily in terms of legal ramifications so much as the SEC and company getting their cut. So in the sense that well, and their cut may not be monetary in this case, but having visibility is what the SEC is after. They want to
right.
know what's going on. And again, that was one of the things that early on cryptocurrency said was not going to be possible. Oh no, we've got anonymity and we've got all this. And well, it turns out that when it becomes institutionalized to the point that enough people are using it to matter, then the regulatory agencies start paying attention. And while they may not regulate it to what I might think of as the common good, they regulate it to fit in their world. And so when SEC looks at AI and says, okay, the AIs are starting to influence how people trade.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, if it's, for example, like on E-Trade, let's say you go and there's like a chat bot, right? Like an AI powered chat bot, and you're just like having a conversation with it. And then this chat bot starts making, I don't know, recommendations, right? Like you should buy this stock. Like at that point, to me, now we're in like really shady territory, because in order to be able to make these sort of recommendations, you need to be licensed, right? Like you need like a Series 7, whatever,
Right.
Series 63, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Um, and so that, I think, is really like pushing the line. But if I think you're creating just some sort of like AI algorithm that's going to like be, picking up on trends and,
Mhm.
looking at stock movement and allowing the actual professionals to render their opinions
Right.
based on the outputs, that's a little bit different, right?
Right.
So
If
like
the
it's
tool is being used by somebody who's already a professional, that's one
correct.
thing.
Exactly.
Whereas if
Right.
the
Right.
tool is making predictions that Jonas
Yeah.
does, makes decisions based
Yeah.
off of, then you know
Yeah, I agree.
it's going
Agree.
to get scrutinized.
okay,
It's gonna get
And
messy.
so
you
you're
guys
saying
are
it's pushing the line, and I think that's one of the key things that's different with about the way the lawyer in you looks at it, and the way the technologist and anthropologist in me looks at it is I'm just assuming the line's going to get pushed. Somebody's going to
Oh,
push
it's
the
always
line.
gonna be pushed. It's always going to be pushed, and that's why.
But as you say, you don't necessarily want to be the test case.
No, and that's right. I think I'm going to make a T-shirt, Jonas. Like, don't be the test
I think
case.
you should.
Like,
I would buy that one. Don't be the test case.
no,
It's like
because
FAFO.
I mean, listen, like these big companies, you know, the JP Morgans of the world, they're fine being the test case, right? Like they
Right.
have their
They've got a huge legal team. They've got huge deep
exactly.
pockets.
They
Sure.
want to establish that precedent. They want to push those boundaries, and that's totally fine. I mean, let
And they
them do it
become the
because
first
again,
one who got approved by the SEC, which is
yeah,
which is
exactly,
yeah.
exactly, right. So like we're not going to get anywhere if somebody is not going to push those boundaries. I don't believe. Again, I said the SEC will be the first in line, but I don't believe. You know, they got a bunch of other shit that they have to deal with, right? They're not like lining up to deal with this, right? This is like,
Right.
you know, small potatoes. So unless somebody makes it an issue, they're not gonna, address it. So I'm curious though how this will pan out for them.
So I'm having fun moving things around here, but you guys, do you remember the Eminem song "Without Me"?
Okay.
Do you guys remember it? Do you remember? So I couldn't help it as you guys were talking because you guys are so intellectual. My ADHD brain was like, so the SEC won't let me be, or let me be me. So let me see. They tried to shut me down on Chatgpt. So there you go. That was my break. That was my breaker to talk about something to move us along. Because you know why? We have not talked about the additional thing that we were article that we want to address, which is
the stupid lawyer. This
stupid lawyer. So since we're talking about so we went through financial, and now let's talk about a near and dear to your heart because it's your industry, right? So
I mean, I think this was a New York guy actually.
Be proud.
Okay.
Oh,
so
we're getting our turn.
Let me just take out my soapbox. No, okay. When I started playing around with ChatGPT, right? Like when it first came out, it was like, let's say like the beginning of December, right? I think it dropped like right after Thanksgiving. So in December, I'm a nerd. I'm an early adopter of everything. Like I like tech, right? So I was playing with it right away. And my goal, again, was always to make my life easier, right? So like I have certain processes that I, have in my work. And so I was trying to figure out if I can use this to streamline those processes. It was not there yet, so that's fine. I left that alone. So I was basically just using it for some research, for some marketing purposes. And so as I was trying to, like for example, like churn out like content ideas, I always like to give people examples, right? Like a real life example. So I would, give it an idea for some piece of content. And then I'd be like, all right, now this is the content. Now give me real life examples of how this happened. Again, December, right? So it would then, give me the output, right? And me, this is content, just being an attorney, most of us are cautious just by nature. I'm like, cool, please give me a cite to that. And it's like, okay. And it gives me a New York Times article. And I click the article and it's a dead link.
Oh.
And I'm like, that link didn't work. Give me another link. And I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Here's another link. That link didn't work. And I'm like, this is the New York Times. Like, I get that this is an article from 2011, but everything is archived. I pay for a subscription, so I should have access to it. I'm like, so something's wrong here. Let me go to Wayback Machine because Wayback Machine, you can tell, right? So I went to Wayback Machine and Wayback Machine is like, this does not exist. And I'm like, WTF, Chat GPT. I'm like, did you make, And then so I go on to the next example that it provides me, the next case, right? Because I'm looking for actual legal cases. And I said, provide me a site for this case. And it's like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I did not know what you were asking me. This is not a real case that exists. And I was like, what?
So
I was like, well, we're done here now. We're done here. But again, right? Like this was for a piece of content that I had the foresight to be like, please provide me with a relevant site. And I would go and fact check myself, because how can I, as an attorney, even produce a piece of content that's not verified?
yeah.
So for some idiot, okay, and again, like if this person is filing things in court, they actually should have a valid subscription to something like Westlaw or LexisNexis, which is what we attorneys use to look up cases. So how could you not even do the basic thing of going in and just double checking that site?
Isn't that what
putting it in the court filing?
Wait, isn't that what paralegals help and assist to validate? Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know if he just like decided to fire his paralegals and replace them with Chatgpt. I don't know. I don't for the life of me understand. But you know what? He deserves everything that he has coming to him. Like, this is legitimately the stupidest fucking application of Chatgpt that I've ever seen. And this is why I sort of like went off last week, right? What the hell did I go off on last week? I just lost my train of thought. About that company that was like, oh, you don't need a lawyer, just feed me PDFs and I'll be your lawyer for you. No.
Yes, no, and that right there is one of the reasons why I think people have this real false impression of the accuracy, right, of a tool of this nature.
Limits. And that's what I was saying in the beginning, that if you understand what its limits are, if you understand what you should be using it for, what you can actually be using it for, you're going to be fine, right? You can figure out how to appropriately prompt it and do all that. But if you're just like, this is like a free-for-all, this is like, I'm replacing my paralegal and my legal assistant and it's going to do my job for me, like, you're a fucking idiot, and I hope that your malpractice insurance does not cover this.
It's exactly. It's like, it should not ever be a cheat sheet, one-stop button, make it happen.
No,
to go.
No.
But we know inherently people are lazy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes,
people,
they are. But like we're also held to like such a different standard of care that other professions are held to, right? Like we're much higher. So like, I don't know. I cannot even like fathom to like, I can't even begin to like explain like what was going through this guy's brain, because anyway, I don't know. Was he just like hoping that like the court clerk wouldn't like double check? I don't know. Like, just, it makes shit up.
Well, okay, like, so here's where, okay, I've come to the conclusion. It was like a wide-eyed, bushy-tailed situation. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I have never cared about the legal industry because I've never been exposed to it. Quote, never needed it. Knock on wood. Don't take it personal, Vicky. Love you, but hopefully never really need legal advice and issues, right? But here's what opened my eyes to how average, like every other industry out there, but you seem to hold doctors and lawyers in a higher like realm, which is after I watched the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case, how bad her lawyers were. And I was just like, how much did she pay those people to be her lawyer? I don't know nothing about law, but something tells me I could probably BS my way the way they performed. And I'm sorry for that Amber Heard legal firm, law firm. I also was instructed that if they are not used to court, like legal court
That
proceedings.
means that they're not competent to represent her. That means that they should
Right.
never have been in that courtrum to begin with. But I digress.
Well, there was argument that they were arbitration type lawyers where they do
Great,
the
then this was not
discovery.
arbitration.
No, can't like find another pair of lawyers that can talk
Yeah.
in public, right?
Yeah.
Articulate themselves and not look like idiots. No, and that was it. Was they looked woefully underprepared. That was really more of it. And they did look inexperienced. But that being said, and I'm hoping they were inexperienced. I'm hopefully thinking they were underprepared for what they realized. But at the same time, I think they got paid like $6-7 million for it. So I don't have a lot of sympathy that this was your A team that you went with. Now, that being said, is this. Oh, I got off on my little topic in my tangent. Okay, so wait, Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. Oh, so when I realized how average like a lot of lawyers can be, seeing this article, you guys, does not surprise me that there are lawyers out there that are cheat sheeting their way across because they probably don't know what the prack they're doing. And that's why I'm very nervous. And there should be big repercussions for being caught using tools like this horribly.
I'll just say this: don't go cheap on your divorce attorney.
I mean, true that. And Andrew, thank you, Andrew Stout. It's like using a translation tool to translate a document. It won't work. Trust me, I have tried to do English to Thai translations to talk to my relatives in Thailand. Can I just tell you, they're like,
yeah, no.
we think what we're trying to understand what you're saying here. And they're doing it back in English. So I'm like, great. Like, just really bad, girl. Just say it in English.
Yeah, no. Yeah, because it just like gives you like the direct translation, and then the direct translation is just a complete something like totally weird.
Well, and I do a lot of back and forth to French and Spanish and occasionally Russian before a couple years ago. But the French, especially because I have my wife has relatives there, and they say that like the translation that you get, even with knowing a little bit and understanding a little bit of what it's supposed to look like, that the translations tend to be very school book. So,
it is. I speak Russian, so like I can tell you that Google Translate in Russian is a hot mess.
Right.
Okay, so Andrew, your last name, I'm assuming that is it more Stut than Stout with the E at the end if you're French? Or you speak French?
It could be Stouty.
Stouty.
Stoute.
No, sorry, sir. Sorry, Andrew. We're not making fun of your name. It's a very unique name, though. But yeah, I mean, there's those subtle nuances. Like you say, it's the textbook version of translation, which in some ways has no meaning in our common vernacular, right?
Yeah.
Like our common everyday speak vernacular. I find that absolutely. Oh, stout like beer, he says.
You got it right the first time.
Yeah, we had it right the first time. But yeah, again, it's these folks that think they can cheat sheet their way in.
And it's also, you have to remember that this, LLM, and this is something that I was talking about yesterday with my group, that when we were talking about Chatgpt, it's like it knows so much, right? And so like if you don't rein it in and give it parameters, right? If you're just gonna like go in there and just be like, find me a case, and then it's gonna give you like even if you're just like, find me a case and don't hallucinate, which is supposed to like rein in the craziness, that's not enough. Like if you are not prompting it correctly, and again, like I have made it a point to figure out how to prompt it correctly. Like I've played with it multiple times, and it still gives me shit that it makes up. Like you cannot get around that. So like if you sucked in law school and yet you still somehow made it and you passed the bar, but okay, and let me just say, like law school,
it's not going to make you not suck.
Law school does not prepare you for the practice of law. It is bullshit. The bar exam is bullshit. It does not it will not tell you that you are a good lawyer, right? Like you figure out how to be a good lawyer by practicing law. and being good at it, right? But if you're going to, like you said, cheat sheet your way and try to like, you know, all these like shortcuts and like Chatgpt, at least if you're going to be doing it, figure out how to do it correctly, because clearly you weren't doing it correctly, or at least understand its limitations in that it's, you know, if you want it to give you sites, like maybe right now that we have the internet plugin, it can connect to the internet and it can possibly give you more reliable information. Like I have not played with it. This case, no, I don't know. I have not tried. I didn't have the time. So
it may be better, but Bard has been internet connected since day one.
Right. So I don't know. I have not used Bard for I have not run my prompts through Bard. Like I just stuck with ChatGPT, and once it made shit up, I was like, I'm not trying this again. I'm like, what's the point? I'm just wasting my time, right? Like if I need a case, I'm going into LexisNexis, I'm pulling my case. But like to think that this is going to like be an alternative and it's going to make you a better professional, no. No. And to like not even fact check it, like my God, like you're putting your name on this. This is a legal document. Not only does it carry legal weight for you, it carries legal weight for your clients, right? Like this is sort of like the people that are paying you. Like this is just like, you might as well just like give them a piece of paper that's just like, sue me for malpractice. Just please sue me.
I mean,
so this one is a suit, right? It's a suit against an airline, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what the details of that are. But
I couldn't get past the headline. I'm not
even gonna lie. Can you imagine what the ramifications could be in a criminal case if somebody
a person's life?
That's what's frightening, right? I mean, can you just imagine it took data from other previous criminal cases, superimposed whatever random crime scene documentation, and then validated it with this case? It's like frightening. Someone's life is at the line, and that's where.
And you know what the worst part about it is, because you have people, you have like public defenders, right? Like public defenders who are swamped with like 50 cases, right? And they just got to like churn this shit out. Like they, you know, are they going to like rely on this? I mean, I think that our job has to just be like to teach people the limitations of this AI, right? Like it cannot be used for this. Like, period, end of sentence. Don't even try it. Like, that's it. Like, I really hope that this guy fucked around. He found out. And now, I don't know, there has to be some sort of like in all of our, I don't know, malpractice insurance, like they're going to put in big black bold letters that like, if you use AI to do your job, we're not covering you.
Yeah, exactly. You're an idiot. Like it's
you're
almost
an
like
idiot. Fuck you. You're on your own.
Well, it's like if you're going to play with matches inside your house.
Yes.
Yeah. Probably not going to cover you home insurance. Like, yeah, no. So, okay. So here's a thing. I think at the root cause of that lawyer getting caught, right, is laziness, right? We know that story. We've all heard that story.
Laziness. Like I said, he could have been just like overwhelmed and he had a lot on his plate and he's trying to get things out the door. It doesn't matter, but it just doesn't matter, right? Like you were busy, you were lazy before Chatgpt came along too. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, you were lazy before, and if anything, it's identified how lazy people can be. So let's talk about lawyers and then next generation of people entering our workforce. So Professor Flunks
since you claimed the other guy was from New York, this one's
Texas.
I said that to you guys. I was like, Texas.
I have to say it.
So he's also, if you go down this article was hysterical because he was like a professor. He was like a farming professor or something. I don't know. It was like something very bizarre. It was like something very bizarre. And it turns out that this was not true. So I'm not sure why this farmer decided that everybody was using AI or how he even reached this conclusion. But I actually do have a friend who is a professor in Arizona at Arizona State. And he's telling me that this is a major issue for them. They just recently found somebody who has been using Chatgpt, and they were able to actually verify, and I think the person admitted to it. So this is an actual probably issue, and I think that that's going to lead to a big change, I guess, in how things are done in academia, right? Like, we're not going to really be able to blindly rely on people writing papers anymore. It's probably going to be like a much more like practical application of things, which, to be honest, is not that bad, right? Because like writing papers is not the best way to prove that you understand something.
Well,
But
yeah,
this is,
I think that's a whole other discussion, because I love to write articles, but I hate to write papers
yeah,
because they're so formulaic.
yeah,
But one of the things that I think we're going to maybe will learn is that, like you were talking about cites, meaning citations, whether it's a legal brief or a paper, an academic paper, check the citations. Like, if you're not clicking through at least a couple of layers deep on that, you really you don't know anything about it.
Okay, so you know what this reminds me of, and I just have to say it because it cracks me up to like know when to say this. Do you guys remember like those cheat sheet books that we used to use back in the day?
Yeah,
Penguin, they're
Spark Notes?
yellow and black. What are those
Cliff
yellow and
Notes.
black books?
Spark Notes, like
Cliff
Cliff's
Notes.
Notes.
Cliff Notes. Like
Okay, like I'm a
we
dork. I
used
didn't use
Cliff
them because I
Notes.
like to read, but
I mean, how many times do you think that was like a
Never wrong.
paper version of chat, right? Because literally, I can't tell you how many times I freaking copied and not copied, I typed and pasted because I had to type it in my own thing. But we
I did do
paraphrase.
calculus for dummies though.
Oh, did you really?
yeah, for dummies, yeah.
Oh,
It
of
didn't
course.
become too much of a dummy.
Well, yeah, no, hold up. Of course,
I
Stephen
honestly
Ang would
think,
know.
well, I mean, I don't know. I think that a Cliff's Notes version of a book compared to what Chatgpt can do, this is like totally different, right? Like Cliff's Notes is just like an abbreviated version of the book. Like Chatgpt will literally write you an entire opinion analysis, compare it with another book and then another thing, and then give you all these wrong sites.
None of which exists outside of ChatGPT.
Well, maybe the other books exist, but the sites do not. I okay, I have not tried. I'm just, just an example, but like yeah, I think it's I don't think you can compare the two.
Well, okay. So I just want to clarify. Stephen Ang, by the way, works at a library. And so that's why, of course, he would know what they're called. Shout out to you, Stephen. Yeah, no. So here's the thing. But the situation here was the fact that he failed everyone because he used Chatgpt or some semblance, whatever platform, and then failed all his students as a result of it. So it was like the opposite.
The free version of ChatGPT, by the way, I wasn't even paying for it.
Oh, it was a free version. Okay.
Not that really matters. I'm just saying.
It matters. It matters. The paid version is a lot more advanced. But
a little, yeah.
A lot of folks. Raquel's.
Anyway.
Well, I was gonna say, so Raquel's alma mater. she went to A&M. Sorry, Raquel. But yeah, no, I mean, okay, so this is a big question again. Tools, what not to use cases have gone wrong, right? So how much education is it going to be where now, if I were a creator of any of these, if I were Bard or whatever, do a education version, would you do a super type of code, like a different code and different paid system use case? Or would it be like, I mean, how could you do it in a way that it's not used or abused or misappropriated for the context of what it does and doesn't do? I mean, you've got kids now, you got a whole entire class that have already walked to graduate, now may not get their diploma.
Well, I think they all got cleared of that particular thing. But
did they get cleared? Because I didn't see in the article.
Yeah. They appealed and pretty quickly they got most of them got pretty clear, except that some of them said, well, yeah, I used it. I didn't copy from it, but I'd used it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this goes back to one of our very first shows where we talked about what this thing actually is. It is a tool that takes a massive amount of text, does some statistical analysis of it, and slaps words together that, mix and matches words together based on how likely they are to occur in similar groupings. And it's really, really, really good at that. What it's not good at is understanding larger context or logic or analysis. It's if you're using the tool for what it is good at doing and understanding the limitations of that, you're going to be fine. And you should be able to, I very firmly believe you should be able to use it for that. If you're using it to analyze a legal case or diagnose a medical condition or write your research paper, eventually you're going to get what you deserve. Unfortunately, in some of those cases, you're going to take some other people down with you, but I mean, use the tool for what it's designed to do. But the problem is, and I think in the context, so your original questions were, what can the creators of these tools do to improve the situation? First and foremost, stop promoting these things like they're going to save the world. They're just one tool. The hype train has gone so far off the rails with these things. And every time I open my email, I've got another 10 things to make Chatgpt make you rich, and 10 things to make Chatgpt solve all your legal problems. And it's not that. It's not that. And they really, really, really need to be very clear about what this thing is and what it is good for. And I think if there's anything that they've done horribly wrong, that's worthy of some kind of, it may not be worthy of legal action, but it's worthy of some consequences, because they've done some people kind of wrong with that.
I could not agree with you more. I mean, we see so many people that are saying, oh my God, here's how ChatGPT can save your life as a marketing, as a creator, as a blah, blah, blah. And you know what? That's great. Used properly, right, it will do wonders for you. But I think today's episode was really to talk about when it does backfire, yep, when there are people who just take it too damn far or are too damn lazy to realize their own stupidity, or as Vicky likes to say, their own effing stupidity, right? And like that right there, I think is in a nutshell of, it's great when it's good, but when it's bad, you done effed up Ron.
Yep.
So Vicky, any final thoughts for today?
No, I think you just close it right out for me. That's exactly it. No, it's fucking limits, and don't be stupid.
And Jonas, any final thoughts?
Same. Just know the tool that you're using before you go trying to operate on somebody or keep them out of jail or whatever.
Yeah, try not to profess to be a surgeon if you do facials.
Yeah, that's
or for that matter, don't assume that it's giving you correct information if you are a systems engineer. Because I've watched that go down in flames too.
I mean, just like we say, all information off Google, take it with a grain of salt, right? When I Google things,
I stopped the system.
You mean if it's on Google, it's not always right? Oh shit!
I know. I know. It's hey, if I query YouTube.
So just because you search something on Google and find it on I can't think of a good Above the Law, for example, .com, or Server Fault or WebMD or whatever. So that information could be wrong. But then you've got a machine that goes and takes bits and pieces of that and mixes matches them together. So it's double, like it's exponentially more chance of it being wrong.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I think so hey, a lot of probably have the most to lose here.
True that. Okay, guys, we're at the top of the hour. We went a little bit long, but guys, Thank you so much. Seriously, these ideas and these concepts that we're talking about, sometimes it's not fun to really see the mistakes that happen and the consequence of it. But again, I still think, optimistically speaking, there are absolutely fabulous ways to use these types of tools. It's just don't be an idiot about it.
That's right.
Awesome. All right. So I think that wraps it up for another episode of Chats Among Us, guys. See ya in 2 weeks. So not next Thursday, but a week after.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.